Good day to you. This is a message for those of you who feel wounded, those of you who remember, and those of you who don't know how to move on these days. This is a time for many females, also males, to remember their witch wound. A time where this wound is being opened up and closing again. Sometimes in quick succession, both opening and closing, opening again, closing again. So the cycle of hurt and being hurt, of the theme of the scapegoat, of the one that is punished for the many, the one that is undergoing hurt, torment in front of others, when being burned, when being tortured, cut open, beheaded, defiled, was appropriate for others to see, to look at. But within a place of not being able to interfere, of not fully understanding what they are watching, and at the same time accepting what they are seeing, accepting the tale that has been told to them. So someone being declared a witch and having undergone such a life to the full extent of being laid out in the open as someone strange, someone alien to the others, the one that is not belonging to the group, the one that has powers that no one fully understands. Everybody somehow needs or wants to know about, but same time, craft that has been carried out in the darkness. So this wound of abandonment, this wound of not being understood, not being loved, not being taken into the community, the wound of being extinguished, of having made non-human in an incarnation that was supposed to be part of a human incarnation. These old wounds of being a victim, these are laid out in the open. Many of you will feel this as underlying theme of your life in the moments of anxiety, panic attacks, depression, not being able to fully function without knowing what is going on. If you feel this is me, and if you remember such a life, and if you don't, maybe you can try to ask your higher selves about, please let me remember why, what's been going on. If you feel gifted in a way that is still outstanding, that is still not common among humans, you have a very high probability of having a witch wound. And it does not mean that you have to be a female. At least in any other incarnation, you might have been a female. Many men who were different, who were acting out differently in the process of living an incarnation that was supposed to be different, that was supposed to bring a more feminine light, that was supposed to be touched by those more feminine gifts. They were effeminated in a very cruel manner. Many times. They were less than human. Still, please remember that the witch wound is much more than just this, the being discovered, the being let out in the open, dragged in front of a public eye and tortured to death. It's much more than that. It is also the feeling of not understanding, who am I? Why can I see the future? Why can I do this or that? Why am I so different? Why do I feel drawn to those practices or those times in the Middle Ages? Why do so many women like to read those Middle Age, these novels that are playing in the Middle Ages? Why is that? Have you ever thought about that? We will encourage you now to both let this play out in the way it wants to play out. So when you feel these feelings coming up, it is best to sit down in a quiet spot and deal with the memories. And when you have this underlying feeling of anxiety, of panic, of not being able to breathe, of burning on your whole body, on a pain that is feeling like a stabbing through your body, anything really, on the total urge to do something like a channeling, speaking in light language, healing, practicing healing on others, sit down in a quiet spot and remember, what is it that your higher self wants you to know, to process with this. It is now time to remember this, to embrace the gift that has come with it, to embrace the learning that has come with it, and also to let go of the victimhood, the feeling of victim mentality. Oh, this is always going to happen with me, even now when I'm opening up, even now when I'm outing myself as one of those people, one of those people. What are one of those people really? You are all so different. You're all so individual these days. Everyone is claiming their own individuality. So one of those people is really not cutting it anymore. So the wound of being different, the wound of I can do something that was in those days not given to everybody or anybody, is also a wound of being able to come into the presence of the I am fully, because so many people had these gifts and so little or so few people have claimed their gifts at those times. But you were one of them. The urge in you was so strong and you couldn't deny it. So the wound of being so different is also something very positive, something very glowing inside of you. It's the trust in yourself, the wanting of yourself to fully claim this, who you are, to bring all of this into an incarnation. to show the light, to shine your light around you, to fully embrace yourself, not only as a human being, but as an eternal light. Seeing the world around you as it really is, as a magical place, even in those darkest times. When you really could not suppress who you really were, even though you knew it might mean death. So being marked out as someone special is something you have all ahead of you. Because you will come to the realization that you all are very special. Every one of you is so unique and is so precious. It is so we really cannot do without any of you. We really cannot. We need you all. We want you all. We love you all. Every little one of you is our greatest, greatest king and queen. So do not victimize yourself now. Close the cycle. Do not make yourself suffer for it. Do not make yourself hurt for it anymore. Acknowledge what happened. Acknowledge who you are. And don't mark yourself as a person who needs to practice their gift in secrecy. This is a time for collaboration, for opening up, for showing each other who you really are, getting to know each other on a different level. And don't be afraid.